So we're back after what, 2 years?
I don't know.
Things have changed, haven't they? Though.
Yes, Trump was elected at the time that we were gone,
and you don't need to say any more.
No.
So we're playing. So we've decided to shake things up because we're going for games that are kind of just middle of the road, unless we find a game that's interesting that we like or hate. Until then, but for now we're picking. Why isn't it working? Why is the controller not working? Oh, there we go. That was weird. Oh, it might be because... I see. Yeah.
Oh, it's the cords on the thing.
Alright. Normal. So, you've played this game before?
Yeah, I played it back when it came out.
I just love that Stephen King is actually the very first, spoken word of dialogue is Stephen King. I just find that, because I did watch, like, the Yahtzee review, and I thought he might have been exaggerating, but no, he really wasn't. That's what I find really funny about it.
Yeah, I remember I was excited for this game because they said they were, like, really inspired by, like, Stephen King and Twin Peaks.
Yeah, and
I think this game is actually why I ended up seeing Twin Peaks, like,
really?
When I did. Yeah, because it came out when I was, like, in 8th grade, so...
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was around the same time for me, too. I have played the opening, so I don't care about the story right now.
Yeah, neither. I played it. It's also...
I've never actually finished it.
You never have?
No, but I know a friend of mine, the reason why I knew about it is he was one of those guys who only played M-rated games, and this was like the best T game he ever played or whatever.
It's rated T?
Yeah, it's rated T, and that's what's funny about it.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His voice is making me laugh.
I mean, this does have the problem that a lot of any video games from that time did, where it's just the writing is the biggest problem.
Yeah. Writing was kind of this disposable thing that happened at the very end of cycles.
Because I haven't played it for a while, but I'm remembering why I was attracted to it, because I'm digging the art style.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's very beautiful kind of game and creepy. Apparently the atmosphere, like, I remember the atmosphere being really good in these sequences.
Yeah, and the lighting is good. Yeah, look at that fog. It's
Oh my God, are we in Alan Wakeville?
Yeah, they've built.
I got around to playing Silent Hill, actually.
Did you? I remember playing a bit of it with you a few years ago.
Did?
Yeah, we did a few years ago.
I wouldn't have had it back then.
I think you did.
Maybe we had a Resident Evil game or something.
No, it was Silent Hill. If it was Resident Evil, I wouldn't have sucked so bad at it.
Oh yeah, totally reverse the controls. That's the other weird thing, is that it always starts out left-hand side, so I'm assuming the developers may have been left-handed or something like that.
That was a thing that a couple of games would do back then. I don't know why. It seemed like a lot of games would just like start with default as inverted controls, and
No, not inverted controls. I mean, the shoulder.
Oh yeah,
is on the left side. Inverted controls, that just happens all the time. It's like in the new. I do like one of my favorite versions. Actually, was in the Metal Gear Solid 5 game. Why am I saying it? The game. I just Metal Gear Solid 5. But
yeah, you know.
Did you play it?
No, I never did. I heard it was good, but I don't own a PS4, so.
No, that's fair. It's also on PC now, actually, which is.
I don't know one of those either.
It's okay. Oh my.
Yeah, Alan Wake just stood there for like 10 minutes while the guy slowly walked over.
Oh, actually,
that paralyzed expression on his face.
So, should we go over what has changed about us slightly? I mean, the biggest thing that changed for you, for me, it's not the fact that you came out as gender binary. It's the fact that you don't like Die Hard anymore. That's the incredible thing.
I mean, Die Hard's fun.
It's no longer your favorite movie.
Yeah, it's not like I don't. I mean, I liked Die Hard a lot for like a year, but it became like my brain just gets like obsessive, and for some reason it just latched on to Die Hard. It was so I had a lot of things to say about it, but you know, they're not all perfect movies.
There's no such thing as perfect movies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Fury Road might be a perfect movie.
in an admission of
Lindsay Ellis.
No, an admission of my own. I'd say I used to because I'd hang out and like with like really artsy type people, especially like when I was in high school. Like the times people would be into movies would be into like really artsy shit. So it was like, yeah, it was sort of an act of just like I don't know, like
Defiance?
Yeah, like defiance, I guess, to be like, oh well, I like this mainstream Hollywood movie a lot. It's a bit like an action movie, but I think by the time I was like at the end of the age of 16, I didn't really care about Die Hard. It was sort of a phase, but you know, Die Hard's still good. There's stuff I respect, like this really well paced. There's like a lot of action sequences
the
are cool.
pacing is possibly like that. It's the same thing with Fury Road is that I'm realizing is that that's the thing for me that kills a lot of movies these days is the pacing is just it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where
Looking at
pacing
you,
really
Marvel.
can save a lot of things really when you think about it.
Yeah, that's
Is that guy supposed to be a jock because he looks like he's in his late 30s? That's the thing.
you know, it's one of those towns that's sort of in the backwards, and they never really got out of the 50s. The people who live in the town, they're the people who just stayed home after high school. So
that's
he's
fair.
still got the Letterman jacket.
Yeah, fair. I will say, on my list of things that have changed is I've just gotten more jaded and just more. Well, part of the thing is I think my self-hatred is like it hit its peak at some point. Ooh, that's actually cool. This is cool. Is this.
Yeah,
That's the thing is I can tell that. Well, that doesn't work. I'm assuming this is a supposed to lose fight.
more like a scripted cutscene.
That's true. Yeah.
That you're just in.
But at least you can move around. That's the thing. I will say video games have started to get more purposefully retro nowadays. Like I went through a huge binge of playing a bunch of games. Like I played Prey, the new Prey that came out.
Oh yeah, the one that has nothing to do with the original Prey.
Which, to be fair, the original Prey, from what I heard, wasn't that good. So.
Yeah, it was fine. It's like, did you play Quake 4?
No.
Exactly.
I played parts of Quake. Well, I played parts of Quake.
Yeah, but did you know there was a Quake 4?
Oh yeah, I knew there was a Quake
okay.
4.
See, I feel like Quake 4 has been forgotten because it was just a generic shooter.
Yeah.
And that sort of Prey reminded me a lot of Quake 4.
Actually, no, it's not. That's the. Well, you mean the old one?
There was Quake 4 came out it was like on the Xbox 360. Came out in like 2005 or 6.
No, I know, but I mean, there's two Preys.
Oh,
remember?
yeah, the old Prey,
Because
sorry.
the new Prey is pretty much just System Shock 2. That's the surprising thing. Is you'd think, oh, is it like BioShock where it's a system? No, it's just System Shock 2. It's It's not that it's a bad game or anything like that. It's mostly good. I know the guys. I think the guys who made Dishonored or somebody made it or something along those lines. And you can tell because it's the same kind of bland storytelling, but all the mechanics work really well. But it's a little bland, for lack of a better word, but it's well made. Like the mechanics work. There's this really great. It's really great at the start because, man, that's a lot of shells.
See, I'm noticing something about the look of this woods because there's a lot of fixtures and things built here, which means that the town's
Oh my
people-
God, it's a heavenly flashlight.
Oh yeah.
I know that.
But the townspeople evidently quite care about the woods, but not enough to maintain any of these structures. They want them all to be here to build them, but they figure it adds to the ambiance if they don't maintain them.
Honestly, this feels. You know what else I'm detecting in a weird way? I'm detecting a lot of influence from X-Files now that I think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of the Twilight Zone too.
Yeah.
Or generally like influence from like film noir stuff.
Well, yeah,
as well with the lighting and everything.
All right, battery. That's what that. But I forgot.
But I guess say probably about this game is. I think it was a good step forward.
Yeah.
It's like you can see I think it was sort of screwed by the industry it was in at the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think there is definitely a place for Twin Peaks inspired episodic games that really capture the feel of the Pacific Northwest. But it just happens that at the time that this came out, if a AAA studio was doing something, it had to be a shooter as opposed to, say, a narrative based on choices.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a Mass Effect, I guess, because Mass Effect came out at that time, right?
Yeah, they put enough guns in to let the to get them to get EA to overlook the story bits.
Yeah, the thing is also I did finish Resident Evil 4 at last.
Oh, did you?
And it's one of those games that really shouldn't work, and yet it really, really does. And
Fucking. Well, you know why it does?
because it doesn't take itself seriously is the thing.
Because there's a scene where a giant clockwork statue of a Napoleon dressed midget chases you down a fucking castle.
Yeah.
And it's never explained or even
Never.
questioned.
Yep. It's incredible.
Oh, you gotta get that other dude. You already.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Shit. All right.
See, I
yeah.
feel like they've even set up like a mechanic that 5 years down the line, even after the
Yeah.
Call of Duty sort of took people's like shooter urges out.
What was funny is I actually started to play the COD 4 because that's the one that even people who hate COD are like, oh no, this game's really good. And
Yeah, what do you think? I replayed it.
I haven't finished it. I only played like 2 hours.
Gotcha.
And I will say I was initially very, very bored, but then I started to get into it, and I remembered why this like genre took off. Like, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Is that it controls well, and
Well, also the realest reason is the multiplayer.
yeah,
It
and
was-
the multiplayer, like, I'll still always think Halo kind of had the better of the two. Mostly just because I think Halo is a better game.
Well, what Call of Duty figured out was it turned the pace way up.
Yeah,
and it added a lot more like competitive elements, but it also added the aspect of like leveling up. So you get they know to like flash the screen like bright yellow.
Yeah.
Anytime you level up, so you get this like great reward, and the game even goes like, "You're awesome, keep going."
Yeah.
So they definitely got the like addiction mindset with it that sort of keeps people playing forever and wanting
Yeah,
to be
definitely.
great.
It's and that's the thing is like I'm thinking of actually playing through the whole thing just to like get the experience, because that was the thing is Call of Duty like sort of just became so, it also became harder in the post, I'd call it post 24, when 24, it's the same thing with 24, is that 24 is a show that I think is a very well acted, well directed, well made show, but it's also kind of
Dated.
it's definitely a product of the Bush era.
Yeah.
And you can't. Oh, whoops. And you can't really. You kind of just have to put yourself in the mindset where in this world these people are all evil, and interrogation totally works. It's not a bad thing at all.
I think in Call of Duty 4, moral ambiguity was more present. But
Oh yeah, no. That's the thing. Is there is a moral? That was the thing in the good season 24. There was kind of this moral ambiguity, somewhat.
yeah,
Though it still kind of was like, it's bad, but it works kind of thing, which, you know, as we now know, it didn't. And
it's I guess a good way to say it is like Call of Duty 4 felt like from the Bush, like it's definitely a product of the Bush administration. The later Call of Duties, like from Modern Warfare 2
Yeah.
onwards, feel like a product of the kind of shit Fox News was saying during the Obama administration.
yeah, and what's funny is that when you think about the first COD 4 was also, a lot of it is about the British SAS when you think about it.
Yeah,
And that's what's interesting, is that there's still kind of, you know, the Americans kind of fuck, from, I haven't gotten this far, but from what I hear, the Americans kind of fuck everything up.
Pretty-
and then
pretty much.
the British SAS are kind of these morally questionable thugs, but, you know, they're cleaning things up behind the scenes.
yeah, they do.
Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't speak entirely about the plot.
How far are you?
Oh, no, not far at all.
Has anything happened? There's
There's that one so far. I haven't gotten to the nuke. Let me say,
Gotcha.
I'm like 2 hours in. I think I just started playing as the Americans. I think I'm on the second mission with the Americans, basically.
the nuke. Spoilers. The nuke actually happens like very early in the game.
Really?
Yeah, it's the end
interesting.
of Act 1.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the other weird thing, is that I played Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, I finished that game. And God, that game's fucking horribly paced. And it's that thing where you can tell the developers, they wanted the game to start, maybe, they literally split it up into acts, and so it's like, it literally goes like, it fades to black, and then it says, Act 1, basically. You want to play?
Maybe
Yeah, sure.
just another nightmare.
Oh, God, it's...
Yeah,
no,
right.
no, she's not dead, honestly.
Right.
Oh, this is.
He looks worse than she does in terms of like the graphics quality.
I mean,
It's not great.
it's the mouth movements
It
that
is.
always gets me with this era
Yeah.
of games. It was always weird. Yeah, they got.
If you really want to see the greatest, worst lip syncing of all time, though, in like a AAA game, you should just play Batman Arkham Asylum, because anyone who isn't an important character, i.e., you know, a superhero or a police officer, and like, well, actually, no, all the cops, they have these bug eyes like this, and they're like, oh, I thought we were all gonna die in there, and it's pretty glorious. They address that because by Arkham Knight is actually like one of the best looking games I think I've ever seen. Really, it's really facial animation is what people have learned that you need to focus on that, because that's what the new Resident Evil engine really gets down well.
Yeah, I need to play the new Resident Evil games. I haven't played those.
7 is really, really good, actually. Like, I have it. That and the Resident Evil 2 remake is, I think, where are you supposed to pose anyway?
Before he missed the shot.
Oh, fuck, that's what we're doing.
But where? I think you're supposed to be over there, maybe? No, like the other side of the cars. Oh, wait, I think there's a glowing thing. Yeah, it's like on the other side of the car or something.
Yeah, okay. Oh, nope.
The other thing is, have you ever heard of Deadly Premonition?
No.
Basically, that is just a Twin Peaks game, essentially, because you play an FBI agent coming to this small town, and he loves coffee. In fact, you have mini games where you drink coffee, and all that stuff. And it's like it's just Twin Peaks as made by a Japanese developer, so it's this very odd kind of thing. But literally, if you play it, you can tell the guy really just watched Twin Peaks every day that he was making it. And if any developer was like, well, maybe this would make more sense, he's like, no, more like Twin Peaks. Because you have these sequences where you're in this flowery bed thing, and these two little twin girls, like straight out of The Shining, are there telling you it's like number 5 or number red, a la, like not backwards speech like the Man of the Red Moon,
yeah,
or anything, but it's basically just like this Twin Peaks fan game, but it was also plagued by these terrible bugs and stuff like that.
Oh.
Because I should play that game again. It also has these, because it's like, basically it's like the town is like an open world where you drive around and stuff like that too to solve cases and stuff.
I mean, that sounds like it could be a cool concept. Like, just in a town like Twin Peaks, you could really, I think, make an open world work. Like, especially if it's all about atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, I haven't finished Twin Peaks because I'm trying to power my way through the second season, and the second season isn't. It's not bad or anything. It's just kind of meandering a lot.
Yeah.
And I know why. Like, I know why.
What? Because the network made them solve the problem,
solve the mystery, which the whole point should have been. It should have been like a 3 or 4 season show where you find out by the end.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the twist is actually a really good one. Like, even though, you know, it's mystical and not really led up to too much or anything, but...
Yeah, it definitely feels very abrupt that they...
Yeah, but that's the thing, it works, but the thing is like, it's just kind of... It just happens, and then suddenly it's like, oh, the show still has 10 episodes to go.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And then you get really bored.
Exactly, yeah. And... I know, because I was in this David Lynch class. That was the thing. And we saw every movie he made. And we saw, one episode of Twin Peaks, and we saw 2 episodes of The Return. Because the professor is a huge fan of The Return. And I know you didn't like it, right?
I couldn't. I tried. It was... Let me talk about meandering.
All right, tell me about meandering then.
Oh, yeah, no, it just doesn't go. It just never picks up. There's no... Like, Twin Peaks is sort of a slow build, but it does build.
To something.
Yeah.
This was just kind of David Lynch being like, isn't this weird? We need to get dreamy with it.
Yeah,
he
pretty
said that
much.
at one point. I do love this one time. He throws this tantrum at one point. I don't hate David Lynch or anything, but it's really funny because there's this one time he really loses his temper on set, and to be fair, it was kind of for a legitimate reason. He was... We're not even paying attention to the plot at this point.
Yeah.
It's not exactly compelling.
Alan, wake
Yeah, there's okay.
Okay, that was incredible.
I know people say that all the time, but I really am.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's
But
the
how-
way his mouth opens a bit too much, kind of, and in one direction.
Yeah, I mean, here's my question: would you recognize Stephen King if you saw him?
Yes,
Would you?
because I've seen what he looks like.
I've got all your
I've seen what he looks like. I think I've actually seen him in person once, but
Really?
yeah, he the art thing I did one summer in high school. There was like overlap between my thing and some people who were in like a Stephen King writing course, so I ended up seeing
Oh.
Stephen King for a second. He's just old. He looks like an old dude.
He's very old.
um,
I do love. There's this one oh sorry, no, continue.
here is no longer
That's the thing is I watched some of the old ones. You are by far the better host compared to me. Like, you have more interesting things to say.
Oh,
and
thank you.
I cringe at every time I talked, so I'm trying to...
I don't know. I was a 19-year-old outdoor. Don't give me too much credit. Fucking-
Wait.
Yeah, but it was too much, like, forcing to try and have that energy when I should have just been like,
Or is your wife with you?
It's all good.
we should just wait here and see how long it takes for her to stop saying something.
Yeah, this is a thing.
I do
that-
appreciate when they do these kind of things because it feels more like you're in a living world as opposed to, you know, this experience. That was the other weird
See,
thing
I
about
actually
Code.
disagree on that
Really?
point.
Oh,
Or I think it
tell
can
me.
be done well, but I think
Well, I don't always like this stuff when it kind of just interrupts you, kind of.
yeah, no. What I was gonna say is that I mean, it works in some games, and I see the appeal of like it makes you feel like you're in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're sitting there on the couch with like the controller in your hand, at least I personally like fidget and want to be doing something, and they usually leave you to just sit and listen to someone while you're trying to like jump up on boxes or like push stuff
that's
around
what
because
you
you just have to be you just have to sit there and listen to someone talk while you
Okay.
came here to shoot monsters.
Okay, no, that's fair. No. I mean, it's kind of cool when that they add like an idle animation. I don't like it when you're forced to kind of go into that
Yeah.
to like find something. That I don't like. But I mean, when it's just there and it's like, oh, you drop the controller, then suddenly your character does something interesting. You're like, oh, that was neat.
Yeah.
But it's not like you have to. I don't know, like Metal Gear Solid when you have to wait for the guy to shit his pants.
Yeah.
That scene was very strange because I did play that finally at one point. Like I played it over Christmas.
Wait, which game?
The first one, the Metal Gear Solid, the first Metal
Oh,
Gear
the
Solid,
first Metal
which
Gear
is
Solid,
actually
yeah.
good. That's the thing.
That game, I was replaying that about a year ago, and it was a case where Hideo Kojima has a specific brand of batshit misogyny that crosses the
He
line
does.
5 times and ends up as hilarious.
He does.
It's
It's insane, and nobody really talks about just how weirdly misogynistic
he's
is.
misogynist to the point he doesn't even know how to be misogynistic.
Exactly.
He just is. He just is all the time, all over the place. Okay, there's like, what kind of person makes a scene where you need to? It even almost ends up as like a clever mechanic, but then you gotta sniff out which guard is Meryl by the fact that she shakes her ass when she walks.
Oh my god.
How ridiculous is that fucking
is.
bullshit?
It really didn't get better by the fifth one.
The
Well, this I can tell is really trying to be a Twin Peaks moment where it's like this weird thing happens, like wait, your keys.
yeah,
Like, but really, really trying to be, so it comes off as kind of strange.
yeah. This game has the problem of sort of being unsure about its identity, where
I agree. Yeah.
I think like people act really weird in Twin Peaks a lot, but people tend to either react like this is weird or they're also acting weird and no one can tell who's acting weird. Whereas in
Yeah.
this case, Alan Wake acts like a basically normal person who does not notice that everyone is acting blatantly incredibly weird.
I do know that one scene where it's like the one cheery girl is now possessed, and he's just like, "Oh, I guess I'll drink your tea," even though she's like, "Yes, drink my tea."
Yeah,
it's really great.
so blatant.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Let's take a look inside.
Wait, did he lockpick it?
Dark
No,
there.
you just have
Man,
to turn the key for him.
Man, he took a lot of effort to turn that key, man.
He's like, well, you know how some people just like can't fucking get it right using keys. I've known people
To
like
be
that.
fair,
Like
that's
if the
true.
keys to their own place, and they're just like, fuck. Okay, come on, try it again.
I mean, I just
got
did that
it.
right now.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
Jump scares.
Yeah. Like I said, like I said, I was playing horror games. Amnesia is one of those games that I played recently, and I just cannot physically play it because it just invokes such nervousness in me. It's just not healthy, and it's just too scary.
Yeah.
It's not like the FNAF thing where FNAF you're just on edge, and man, does anyone even remember that anymore? Five Nights at Freddy's. Remember when that lit up the world?
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was like a video game equivalent of Two Girls, One Cup. It was a thing you're supposed to film yourself reacting to more than it was like...
Hey, it's the Last of Us generator scenes. It's the same thing, and I hate it when that
Hey,
happens.
Left 4 Dead did it too.
Yeah. The difference was in this game and in Left 4 Dead there was a reason for it. In Last of Us they just threw it in there because it's like, see, we know what interactivity is.
See, I guess I had played Last of Us slightly wrong. I mean, I wasn't that into the plot because it was a lot of it was like The Road meets The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
With a lot of plot lines just ripped straight out. I can see why you like it, but
Who, me?
being anybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it like everybody. I think... No, sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, there's all these sequences where I'd be like, why do we need to like have a whole sequence where this... Like, where you either need to, like, swim across a thing, just get a platform for Ellie because she can't swim or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is the game constantly stopping the pace? And it turns out that I was supposed to, like, hit an interact button and get, like, character dialogue during these scenes. And now I'm wondering, why was that optional? It was going to take me 10 minutes to get the fucking thing in the first place. You could have just filled the air. Why was that on me?
That's a good... Yeah, no, like I said, there are things about it that work very well, I think. To me, the game, it's another one of those cases where it feels like everything there is just set up just to get to the third act, and literally the only thing the developers cared really a lot about was the third act and the prologue, because everything else is just kind of... Tess is like the epitome of a female character just thrown in there who's supposed to be this tough character, and you're just thinking she's gonna die the whole time, and you don't care enough to like forget about it, because all you can think about is when she's gonna die. When is this lady gonna die, and be the motivation for the male character to essentially just keep being a dad, basically.
Yeah, it's it has its cliches. I don't know, I was getting kind of jaded to like the post-apocalyptic thing in general, because
fair enough.
The post-apocalyptic story, with the exception of course, Fury Road, because Fury Road is the exception to every...
It's the exception to everything.
Yeah, it's just great.
You say that the fourth movie in your series isn't supposed to be the best one in your series? Well, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fury Road comes in and changes everything.
Yeah, exactly. You think a sequel can't work after 20 years? Fuck you.
You think that you need the original actors? Fuck you.
Yeah, literally, just all that shit. Just
one quick tangent around Fury Road, but I do love... One second, I just gotta finish this text.
Go ahead.
Hang on. And who cares about this stupid cutscene anyway?
Yeah, for the people listening, if you're wondering why we're not paying attention, it's because you're not missing much. The plot of this game isn't very good. So I think in part of playing this, we're going to deconstruct where it went wrong versus where the game that it clearly like...
Yeah,
So
that wanted to be.
We all know which game that it wanted to be.
Okay, can we just talk about that one thing where it looked like he's about to drop a hernia as opposed to being concerned about his wife?
Well, let's go to another example of why Life is Strange is this game but done correctly.
Yeah,
and
Life
right.
is Strange is a good game, by the way.
Yeah, Life is Strange is a good game.
I
a good example of a place where I think this game sort of did enough wrong to give Life is Strange the clarity to do something, to do a lot of things right. And one of the main things that this did wrong was it was trying to tell a story, but it stuck with that 2009 like character models that just they're almost good, but they're so uncanny valley. Life is Strange knew it had that limitation, and then made the art style more like this comic book hand-painted look with cell shading and like sort of stylized faces that people read serious comic books. You can still do a story that way.
Well, that's the other thing, is you can see a lot of Walking Dead influence from the game, not the show.
Yeah,
That's
especially.
the game really works, by the way. I'm going to pen... That's the other one to me.
The Walking
big
Dead
exception.
game?
Yeah, the first season at least.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Oh, you haven't played it?
No, I never did.
Oh, it's very, very good.
I heard it was like the comics, and
No,
I think
no.
really.
Well, I only read the first issue, or the first volume, and I didn't really care about the comic.
How far did the first volume go?
The volume goes up to, I think, Shane getting killed.
Oh, that's like nothing. That's
Yeah, I know.
you read like an afternoon's worth. You gotta keep going.
Yeah. Wait, are the comics good or something?
Yeah, the Walking Dead comics are really good. The
Oh,
show's a
okay.
piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I've heard it might have got better after like season 3, but season 2 was such a shit show.
Season 2 is like, I don't really watch Your Movie Sucks, but he does this amazing breakdown of why the second season is such a piece of shit, and he goes into the behind the scenes reasons why, including Frank Darabont's, firing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that show had a habit of firing all the writers like every 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, the worst thing about that show is that there's a lot of good people who work on it, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And at one point, they actually got Michelle McLaren to direct some episodes.
What else she done?
She did a lot of Breaking Bad episodes. She did One Shot, the one with the two twins who come to kill.
Gotcha.
That really good episode. And she's done like some episodes again, so she's a very good director. At one point she was thinking of directing Wonder Woman, and I honestly kind of wish she did. Not that Patty Jenkins is a bad director or anything, but Michelle McLaren's a very good action director. But she did some episodes, and there's like a lot of, you could tell there's all these really good writers, because usually when the show gets off of the main plot, which is garbage, like there's that one episode where they go back into town to find, who's the guy who Rick first meets when he goes out into the world with his son?
Oh yeah,
I don't want to say the black guy, because that would just be
yeah, but I
terrible,
mean,
but
he's only 1 out of 2, so and I know T-Dog's name, but I'm blanking on his.
Well, he's T-Dog, clearly.
Yeah.
The loose sheets of paper were
Also note that they, for the TV series, they decided not to bring in any of the black characters from the comics.
Yeah.
There were other
No,
black
they
characters.
They did eventually.
Didn't they eventually bring Tyrese in?
Yeah, they brought Tyrese and his
Tyrese is good.
wife. Yeah,
but they did like
They also got a
fig-
good actor for him too, so that was good.
There were black characters in the comics, and they just figured, any old black guy will do as the black guy.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to be the same one.
I'd be surprised if they could get Forrest Whitaker, because Forrest Whitaker doesn't care anymore. That's the sad thing. Actually no, I disagree, and then I think about it. But the thing is like I saw Rogue One, and man, it no offense to Gareth Edwards, I think he's one of those people who. Did you see the Godzilla movie, the 2014 one?
No, I saw his movie before that, Monsters.
Monsters.
That was rather good.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's his really good one. But the thing is I realizing that some people say the acting's really bad. I think those actors weren't bad. I think he's just a god-awful director of actors.
Well, yeah, I think he has a real talent for
composition and stuff like that.
Yeah, he has a real talent, especially he works for monster movies and like sci-fi movies, because he's really good at making people look really, really small compared to something, and making that something also look really, really gigantic.
Exactly.
Which other directors, it's amazing to see how good he is, but his movies are incredibly slow.
Yeah.
They always have that thing in the background that makes the whole thing feel like a dream, and you're like, is any of this happening? Why does it feel like this movie is all happening underwater? And it's because of that shit. It's the Man of Steel problem.
Oh god. Well,
and
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, but it's the same problem. He
It
does
is the
all
same
that,
problem.
and it's like, and yeah, his human monsters had like half decent human characters, but it's clear that the dialogue was like improvised, and they were sort of
Exactly.
coming up with it on the fly.
That was the interesting thing, is he essentially tried to make like a fake documentary by just making a documentary.
Yeah, and then CGI-ing monsters
which really
in
works
afterwards.
really well. But the thing is he's one of those people who I feel he should work as a DP for like 5 years, just to see how a director who knows how human emotions work and stuff like that talks with them.
So I'm gonna actually real quick talk about the game again
Oh,
and
yeah,
point
go
out a fantastic missed opportunity on the part of the developers.
Oh yeah.
So they do have this cool system here where you can find pages of his manuscript
I
that
know
tell
that.
you about things, but to my recollection, they mostly just tell you about story beats that happen in the cutscenes. And they, how do I use the? Do I just gotta run?
You have to press the sprint button. It'll be at the same time as you move, and then you'll like dodge. But it's
Gotcha.
weird.
But here's the thing: is that those only give away stuff that happens like cutscenes or story beats. Whereas if they had like, say, really creative like monsters and boss fights, like Resident Evil 4, then they could have used the manuscript pages that tell the future as like ways of like maybe you could hunt down manuscripts and then you'd know a special weakness of a boss that you wouldn't know otherwise.
That's actually a really
It'd be a
good
nice
idea.
like good little reward for doing this, whereas otherwise you just listen to pages to like build atmosphere and tell more of the story, which would be fine if this was like BioShock, and the story was good, but it's not BioShock, it's Alan Wake. And
Oh yeah, that's another thing you change your opinions about, is BioShock actually now.
Did I?
Yeah,
What's
because you used to hate it.
I didn't hate it as much as I hate the people who liked it.
Oh, that's fair.
I try not to be like that so much anymore. I'm trying to get my contrarianism out, but I
Oh, no, I understand. No, the fan base behind it, it's the Portal thing, where, you have the worst fans, or the Holy Grail, Monty Python, the Holy Grail, where you have just the worst fans.
Yeah, I think...
And it's hard to love something.
Well, I think also BioShock is very good, but I think it gets sort of worshipped more because all the things that, like... Which is this? Oh, that's the sprint button. I wasn't paying attention earlier. But, it probably should have had a bigger effect on the gaming industry than it did, because I think a lot of the people who really like BioShock, they worship it because they're just starved for games that are that good. Because it is good. It still has, like, some glaring flaws.
Oh, yeah, no. Believe me.
It is still very, very good.
That's the thing, is the problem really lies in the third act, because the strongest points of the game are the first two acts.
Yeah.
And that's what's remarkable, is usually games kind of actually falter in their third act, and this game actually, it like nails everything. And I mean, BioShock is probably my favorite game, I guess, if someone really depressed me. I mean, usually it comes down for me these days between the Stanley Parable, The Walking Dead Season 1, and BioShock, I suppose. And maybe Spec Ops... No, not Spec Ops The Line. I really respect Spec Ops The Line, but it's also one of those games I'm starting to notice is douchebags like it. Pretentious douchebags really like that game.
Douchebags do like it, but here's the way that it goes. It's the cycle I've seen, right? It's the cycle where, like, the smart people who make witty comments online like a thing. Because the thing is good, and a lot of people who very much want to be seen as the smart person who likes what he thinks online, worship it sort of blindly.
It's also,
I think, basically the big thing to remember is that, like, don't tie this shit to your identity.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're gonna become an asshole.
Yeah.
Because when you notice, like, that's the thing, is that people then, I don't know, it's the difference between, like, liking something because it's really good or liking something to show off that you're really smart for liking it.
Yeah.
And that's a character flaw. That's not on the fault of the thing.
I mean, I had that problem for a bit. I've come to realize it's just like, I like something, I like
it. It's a phase. You grow out of it.
Yeah, and if I don't like something, I have gotten, though, it was one of those things where for a while everyone, at one point I did one of those, like, those Facebook things where it's like, if you're to describe me as, like, in a sentence, like, name it, like one of those Facebook things.
Yeah.
And everyone just kept saying, everything sucks, this thing sucks, that's popular. I'm like, man, is that how you see me? That's kind of depressing.
Is that why you hang out with me? Is so you be like, hey, I'm not that.
Nah. I hang out with you because you're a cool person.
Okay.
I like hanging out with you.
I like hanging out with you too.
Yeah. Even if I badgered you a bit too much to get into this chair to do a Let's Play.
Well, I don't mind this
chair. I felt
chair.
a little bad about that.
You're good.
No, not the chair. I mean, just, in general.
Whatever. I fucking...
No, it was the... I will say you are far better at it than me in terms of being contrarian, in terms of you actually have legitimate reasons why you don't like something. Sometimes I'm just like, I just don't like it. I can't explain it.
I got told I complained too much as a kid, and I took it as a challenge.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think this game, on the note of complaining about things, this game is a good example of a lot of good ideas that couldn't.
It feels like the developers really cared about it, but they were all kind of wanted different things in certain regards.
Yeah, I'd say probably the publisher wanted different things from the developer, if I had to guess. Because you got to look at the industry as it was at the time.
Absolutely. I mean, the industry has gotten both worse and better in certain respects. The things that have gotten better, obviously, more women are involved, which thank God.
Yeah.
Like, we're a bit out of that phase where, I will say, it's one of those things where I think in some respects Minecraft kind of saved the industry. Now, hear me out.
No, go. I believe you. That checks out.
The thing is, I think Minecraft saved the industry from staying strictly as because it was, to me, that was the game that's like, yeah, you have your Marios and your Zeldas that anyone can enjoy, but Minecraft was this thing that a lot of people grew up with, that it really just appealed to everybody.
Yeah.
And it also was the game to me that I think really made, I know people say games aren't mainstream still, but I'd say they are kind of now, in the sense that it's far more mainstream than it was then. Like, for example, back in the day, it was kind of typical where you'd have that cliche of, you know, girls dressed up in women dressed up in costumes who were hired to like bring all the boys into cons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
they
now,
called them booth babes.
Yeah,
was
booth
the name.
babes. And now,
And
you know, now it's not really that much of a thing anymore.
Yeah, I
because-
think they started to change the language on booth babes, and then they eventually
Yeah.
said, "Oh, maybe we just shouldn't have the booth babes."
Exactly.
If we can't,
Because we're starting to notice that a lot of women are starting to play games for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know why. And Minecraft, I'd say, let me put it this way: before Minecraft, I never saw like a plushie toy of a character from a game that maybe wasn't Mario or something.
yeah,
That, you know, everybody was buying and stuff like that. And I think Minecraft has had this invisible effect, not just in the game industry in terms of like design, but in terms of attitudes towards games.
yeah, and I'd also say that Minecraft. I mean, the industry was stagnating at the time that Minecraft blew up.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
Minecraft showed that you don't need like
Ultra graphics and
you don't need
stuff
ultra
like
graphics. You don't need a AAA budget. You just need it to be really fun.
Yeah.
I'd say Minecraft also paved the way for Life is Strange.
Yeah, thank
to
God.
exist.
It's a shame that Notch has turned out to be basically a neo-Nazi. So
Who?
Notch, the guy
Notch.
Made,
Well,
Minecraft.
he's from Nazi land. I mean, it's not Germany, but you
well,
know.
more like alt-right, but there's no difference.
Between where is he from? Switzerland,
No,
Sweden.
Sweden, but that's the thing. Sweden
Yeah.
is usually full of, well, outside of that band Lucas Graham, I guess. Man, I remember when that was a thing.
I don't. What the fuck is that?
Lucas Graham. It's a band, and the thing is the lead singer named it after himself, the band, and all of their albums are called Lucas Graham. Not even Lucas Graham 1 or 2. It's just Lucas Graham.
I mean,
And
I
he
guess
made this song called 7
how-
Years, which you may have heard of. The one that's like, once I was 7 years old.
No, all I can say is I
That's
guess
good.
you know people make things about the things that they're fans of. Like this was made by people who are fans of
No,
Twin
wait,
Peaks. I guess
they're
Lucas
from
Graham
Denmark.
was.
Never mind.
I guess Lucas
I'm
Graham was a big
racist.
Lucas Graham fan.
Yeah, never
So
mind.
he's
Also,
gonna
I'm
make
wrong. They're from Denmark. They're not from Sweden.
Gotcha.
I'm a xenophobic, racist person.
It's all good. Where's Bjork from?
Bjork. I think she's actually. That's a good question. I'm gonna look it up. I think it's from Sweden, but I want to be sure.
Did you just call her an it?
Wait, I did? Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
She is Bjork.
No, she's from Iceland.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Icelandic.
right.
She's good. She's
That's
great.
what I was thinking of Denmark.
I'm happy she went out to point out how much of a piece of shit Lars von Trier is. Thank God.
You sort of can guess that watching his movies.
Or you can guess that from just when he was like, "I understand the Nazis now." Have you ever
Oof.
seen that?
No.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
You may have to stop that because it's really, really funny. It's what got him banned out of Cannes, but then the Cannes let him back in for some because people are idiots.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why I don't like French film culture. I had my whole thing where I thought I was racist toward the French. When I realized I just don't like the French New Wave. I just don't like the French critics.
The
at the
French
time.
filmmaking has a particular
Except for Agnes Varda. Agnes Varda seems like a cool person.
French filmmaking has a particular fascination with seeing middle-aged, fat, bearded Frenchmen sleep with like 18-year-old girls.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's always a scene. There's always a scene in like every French movie where that happens. They
Yeah.
just decided that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's an
I
Emmy
mean, we
Nicholas
saw
Road
Breathless
movie.
in class.
What's Breathless?
It was that Jean-Luc Godard black and white one where the Frenchiest Frenchman is just being French, and he's no wonder you don't remember it. It just was
Yeah.
just shit.
All right, I'm gonna guess I
Jean-Luc
need to get
Godard
up
is
onto that
pretty much to
platform.
me like the epitome of that shitty, whiny filmmaker asshole who essentially
The
accused.
auteur.
Yeah, that theory is such bullshit.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Like, that's the thing is it's just the worst theory ever. It's just.
I mean,
I'm
like,
happy
yeah,
it's kind
and
of coming out of style, thank God, but it's also still present.
It tends to be certain types of people go for auteur theory, and we call these people with problems with their dad. Name someone you know who likes that tour theory. Just ask them about their dad. It's always
I haven't
either
done that yet, but
it's always one of two people. It's always like a dude who probably likes Drive a lot. Who looks like remember that dude at who wore like the snakeskin boots? He had like a goatee.
You?
No, I didn't. Oh, fuck you! I never did that shit. No,
I'm just.
He would wear like snakeskin boots and like a
I feel
like
I
a
should.
smoking jacket over like a t-shirt and shit. He had like a goatee.
There's this one movie you need to watch that I forgot I needed to show you before we started this.
But
this student film that I've seen, and it's the greatest worst student film ever. It's one of those. Well, there's like a friend of mine showed me. Well, he sent me this movie. I won't name names, but there was this movie, and it was the most film student I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
It literally, it's basically just I Want to Be Martin Scorsese, the movie. It's set in Boston. The main character talks a lot to his thing. This faux sense of feminism, because in the end it turns out his wife was actually the real mobster the whole time.
Yeah, you see, ladies, I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that. Oh, I'm feminist because it's the Quentin Tarantino style of feminism. Of that, if I give a woman a gun, therefore I am appended of ever being called a sexist.
Yeah,
because
I can give a woman a gun and then later just like force her to crash her fucking car.
Yeah.
Into a wall.
Are you talking about?
And that's feminist.
Yeah. Or saying you're a piece of shit because you won't do a stunt that's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, you read about that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, were those actually Energizer batteries? I think those are actually Energizer. No, that just means there's a crate. Remember?
Oh.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I keep hoping that Once Upon a Time in the West will finally be the one that breaks the spell that he's been carrying over everybody. Because
is that his next movie?
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Do you know what it's about?
No.
So here's the thing. Nobody cared when he exploited a Jewish tragedy. Nobody cared when he exploited black people's tragedy. He's going to exploit a white person's tragedy, so I'm hoping people will actually care this time.
And what's this? Oh, fuck, I did hear about this. Sorry,
the
it took us...
Manson murders.
Well, okay, so there's two aspects to this. One is covering the Manson murders, but the big thing about it is that, of course, the still living member of that whole thing,
Wait, there's one person who's still alive from.
Well, no, the guy's wife got killed. The director,
yeah, Sharon
Roman Polanski is we all know there's a reason that he keeps making movies with foreign actors in foreign countries because he's not allowed back here. It's not because anything allegedly happened. It's because he did that shit, and fucking people are mad, but and Quentin Tarantino is good buddies with Roman Polanski.
Oh yeah,
and now he's already sort of in the hot seat. Everyone is,
and now
he's
of damage control lately.
Yeah,
and you can tell it's that thing where he really isn't actually sorry. He just wants to make it seem like he's sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of people say, "Oh, he's such a nice guy," but I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Have you seen when he punched a reporter for following him around at one point? Well, to be fair, it was kind of a paparazzi situation.
What the fuck am I supposed to be doing here?
That is a good question. We're supposed to follow the arrows, remember?
Yeah, and I followed the arrows. They led up here.
Okay, wait. Okay, we didn't hear that before. Wait, go past to the right maybe, and see if there's a way. I will say these the levels are actually pretty open, but they're not designed well enough that you can find your way around them. I will say that's one of the things is Naughty Dog's level design is actually really, really good because you can always find your way to where they want you to go.
This is true.
That's the thing is Naughty Dog. I like their stuff even though Neil Druckmann seems like a nice guy. He's they're a little bit have their heads up their butts just a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, you can kind of tell.
I will say that Uncharted 4, it was good until the third act happened because I didn't realize the third act was the length of an entire game. Because I'm not even exaggerating. The first two acts are really good, and then suddenly the third act happens, it's like the length of the first 2 acts combined.
Jesus.
It's so long. It's
Alright,
so long, and it destroys all love you ever had for Nathan Drake by the end, where you're just like, just end, just die, or just find the treasure, just end. But they had a good epilogue though, and they got. I won't spoil it because you haven't played it. But it was pretty good. Because now Neil Druckmann's just doing everything they've ever made, which is, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Naughty Dog is, yeah, they're good. They're solid developers. Like, the Uncharted games are fun.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was the Star Trek effect, where the second and the fourth one are significantly better than the first and the third one.
Yeah.
Particularly the third one, because the third one isn't very good. That's the thing.
Yeah, it was fine.
not
It was just
bad.
more of Uncharted 2.
Exactly. It's like there was nothing more to say about it by that point. Uncharted 4 kind of felt like how Uncharted 3 should have been, basically.
Gotcha.
Uncharted 3 just felt like a decently made extension pack for
Yeah.
Uncharted 2.
It really looked like they just programmed new levels in
yeah.
Uncharted 2. Like, they didn't even change the...
And Uncharted 2, I'd still say, is like the best game Naughty Dog has ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
It is a ton of fun.
And it's just fun and good, and it's well acted, it's well animated,
It's well paced.
Yeah, it's very well paced.
There's fun sequences in it. It has the only time I've
Want me
ever
to take
really...
control? I'm gonna see
Yeah,
if maybe
go
I can
ahead.
find my way out
It
of
has
here.
the only fun train level in a game,
Oh yeah, you're right. That's the thing. No train level has ever been very good, when
with the
you think
exception of that one.
except for that one, yeah. And it also has a very good post-train level, which is the
Yeah.
opening. Also, possibly one of the best openings for a game ever when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the opening to Out of Gas, but
Hey, I mean, video games
If it
ripped off
works.
movies for ages, and
Yeah.
the ones that work. Video games as an industry now are very weird, because I think.
oh, is that the fucking generator? The whole goddamn time it was right there.
Was it?
God damn it! Fuck me.
I don't.
Oh,
know.
wait, no, that's
no.
not
I
it.
don't think so.
This is gonna be great footage for the audience. So watch us.
I mean, hey, if anyone's actually watching this, they're probably just gonna turn it off and then listen to the audio like they do for all Let's Plays
That's
these days. Yeah, this is very boring. It's
yeah, that is also the big problem with this game, is that even if you do find the generator, what's gonna happen is there will be a sequence during the day, and
I'm
then
just
we're gonna
gonna
come back and
double-check.
do more of this tomorrow
Yeah.
night, and then the next night.
and then the next night. It's like the book version of Jaws. Do you know about that? Is that they don't stay out at sea. They just keep coming back after every night, and
Oh.
you're like, wait, so you keep coming back. Why didn't you get a bigger boat? Why didn't you do that? And that's the thing. That movie really deserves a lot of props for essentially just being way better than its source material in a lot of respects, because everybody I love the story about Steven Spielberg reading that. There's actually two great stories. Firstly, after he finished that book, he wanted every character to die. He wanted the shark to win because they were all such assholes, basically. But there's this really funny story from the documentary about making it, where the sound guy was like, they were having this time. At one point, the orca started to sink, not on schedule. It just started to sink, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck, we gotta get everything off." And the sound guy, there's all of the tape, I believe, all of the recordings was on that boat, and the sound recordist, he gets there, he pulls it up and holds up to his knees, and they're trying to get the actors off, and he's holding it, and he's like, "Wait, fuck the actors, save the sound department." And he's just screaming at that, and I'm like, I wish I was there, because that sounds incredible.
That does sound incredible.
This is very strange. Wait, there's a generator there.
Oh, god damn it.
Man, this is not very well designed.
Yeah. I mean, they could have lit it better, but then that would fuck the other mechanic.
Yeah. We have so many batteries.
Now, the light mechanic is sort of an interesting idea.
Yeah, I agree.
It's got a similar way to, I guess, they're adopting the two-shot thing, the way BioShock has plasmids and
Yeah.
everything, or the way Halo used the plasma guns versus your regular gun.
Yeah.
But it does also get kind of repetitive. I think one of the big problems with this is that most of the monsters are just there's only so much you can do with possessed, just people of like this small town, and also like how small is this small town?
Yeah.
That 30 people a night can get gunned down in the woods mysteriously.
Maybe they're just recycling the
and
ball.
everyone's just like, eh.
Oh, shotgun. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Did I mention I played the new Resident Evil 2 remake?
No, how was it?
It's actually. Here's the thing: is I remember Yahtzee. I'm surprised. Like Yahtzee, we have our own differing opinions now about Yahtzee because Yahtzee's kind of an asshole. But
Yeah, he's still a good game critic.
he's still a good game critic, but he
has become more of an asshole.
Yeah, even more. I remember when he used to be somewhat progressive when he was, saying.
Yeah, he was.
And that's the weird thing is I feel like he just became an old man. So
Yeah, he's only like 30.
he's only 35, but he acts like he's in his 50s. It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what we need to do. But he was talking about how it was kind of this step forward and step back because the thing is, I'm starting to realize Capcom's game design is fantastic. It's really good. It's just their story writers are terrible. That's the thing.
Yeah, you sort of got to get yourself in the mood for a Capcom story.
Exactly. Which is why the 7th one was actually good, is because they got one of the writers of Spec Ops: The Line to write it.
Oh,
actually.
gotcha.
Well, he was like the story consultant, but you can tell he like had a huge say because there's a lot of these cerebral sequences that would really fit in like a Spec Ops: The Line game.
Gotcha.
Spec Ops: The Line game. Well, yeah, Spec Ops is a series, not.
Yeah, but
I remember.
no one's played any of the others.
Exactly. The only one they played is the good one. That's the thing.
And I mean, okay, some people have played the original Spec Ops games,
I
but
suppose
you don't
so.
know any, and I don't know any.
Yeah. That's yeah.
They usually don't go out much. You'll occasionally see them at like a public like video game bar where they'll be the one in the corner. They smell bad. They've got headphones on, and if you even get within 5 feet of their computer, they will shoot you a dirty look.
Don't care. Yeah, they'd be rambling about their days when Counter-Strike, the original, was so much better than all this other garbage.
Yeah, you don't dare say a word to these people because you know you're going to get a fucking earful.
Yeah, but
We've all met that gamer.
yeah, we have. But as I was saying about Resident Evil 2, it's mechanically amazing. Like I love horror games that make you capable enough, but not capable enough that you don't feel like you're in danger all the time. Like that's what Resident Evil 4 does, really, really well. Is that like I'm on both sides of the opinion where you can do. This is why I like the first Dead Spaces. The first Dead Space really did action horror very well.
I would also, I'm not doing action horror. I like this cool like wavy effect we're getting.
Yeah.
This like woods is really well designed. They've got the atmosphere down
They
pat.
do. It's really
you feel
good.
like you're walking through the woods and frightened.
Yeah. What was that they say in Resident Evil 4? Or whatever. Nah, I'm speaking racist fake Japanese, not racist fake.
I know what you were trying to say. The people in
It's
Resident
like
Evil,
foreigner, basically. I think that's what they're actually saying.
they speak Mexican Spanish, so
Even though they're in Europe.
yeah.
The
developers have also denied that it's Spain.
they had.
Yeah.
Well,
They've said that it doesn't take place in Spain.
Oh.
They said it takes place in Central Europe. Which, like, it's definitely not France. It's not Germany. It's not Italy.
Where
unless
is
there's
it?
Yeah.
How can there be Napoleon there?
Yeah.
Oh god, he's the best part of the game as far as I'm
Salazar.
concerned.
Yeah, that and
Salazar
also the radio sequences between Leon and Salazar.
The
are
thing
great.
is I'm half convinced that Shinji Mikami was kind of taking the piss out of Metal Gear Solid at that point because it feels almost like a giant parody of it's Energizer. Look at it. It's fucking Energizer.
That is an
batteries.
odd brand name drop. Do you even see Energizer much these days? I feel like they've slowly lost.
I have some Energizer batteries on me at some point. Like they're still there, but it's not like there's a lot more brand battery names out there outside
when
of
I was
Duracell
like a little
and
kid,
Energizer.
Energizer was like the hot shit, but Duracell is like the only thing I ever buy.
Yeah, but they both exist.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Batteries are
If
batteries.
you know which one is better in the comments, please let us know.
Please let us know if you're watching. Please let us know
If
there's
you're
a reason
stuck in
why we should exist.
If you're stuck in
We're halfway to. I mean, at this point, we're old enough that we're halfway to the halfway point of the grave. So we need validation, people.
what is this, like Zeno's paradox with your age? get to the halfway point between halfway points.
The halfway point of the halfway point. I keep saying that because if I'm lucky, it's the halfway to the halfway.
This
point.
is the 15-minute mark when the main conflict is introduced.
Yeah. All right, I can sprint. Fuck. Also, I need to finish Mass Effect 2 and finish 1 and maybe play 3 at some point.
If you're really into Mass Effect, give 3 a shot. If you
have to kind of forgive a lot of the shittiness or something.
Well,
like Uncharted 3 kind of.
no, it's got some really, really good moments, but it definitely feels like
shit.
Oh yeah, the flare.
AKA the grenade launcher, because I didn't know flares exploded like
well,
that.
when the enemies are hit by light.
But it
so.
didn't hit them. That's the thing.
It's a lot of light.
It's a lot of light. Well, anyway, no, as you were saying, sorry.
What was I talking about?
Mass Effect 3 having good moments.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like they were sort of like the developers were rallying the last of the energy they had to put into the franchise.
Before
and you
got stuck making Anthem.
Yeah, and you can feel certain compromises made. Like I noticed, one of the first things I noticed in, oh yeah,
This is
can
cute.
you tell they like the Twilight Zone?
Ooh, I would never have guessed.
But and also it's another Twin Peaks reference there with the having a TV show that's vaguely about the current plot going on in the background all the time.
I will say also the best Twilight Zone parody is still the Scary Door from Futurama. Is still the best parody I've ever seen of the Twilight Zone.
Aren't they Jordan Peele's coming out with a new one?
Yeah,
right?
I showed you the trailer to that. I think it's coming out. I think it's coming out either this month, maybe.
No, sweet.
Like, I'm curious to watch it.
Yeah.
I was a little worried because I was worried people were gonna be really turned off by it because. Not because of Jordan Peele, but because you're kind of stuck in a no-win scenario when you're saying, I'm remaking the Twilight Zone. But it seems like he's going in the right direction, so I'm excited to see it. I mean, Get Out was very good.
Yeah, of course. I hope Us is good. I'm looking forward to
me
it. Probably
too.
will be.
Probably will. Well, I hope so.
Yeah. But Get Out was really good.
Get Out is quite good. Didn't some idiot try to tell you it was bad?
Did they? If they did, I didn't listen.
Apparently you had that pretentious friend who wasn't me who told you, oh, Get Out is bad, and then you saw it and you're like, oh, I shouldn't listen to that.
Oh, no. My brother said it wasn't good.
Oh, okay.
But my brother's not. He's an idiot. Don't listen to him. Fucking... Yeah, no, I really liked Get Out.
Get Out was quite good.
Yeah.
It's becoming an excellent gauge for the whiteness of the person you're talking to.
They do. They really
nailed
captured it like perfectly. Like
it's like uncanny how much he captured that sense of white privileged liberal person who isn't racist, but
yeah. I mean, there was
racist.
just a lot of great stuff in there.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it like perfect, but it is quite good.
Yeah, that movie will make you uneasy about people being nice to you. Like I remember right after I saw it, my partner was like, "Do you want some tea?" I was like, "Nah, thanks. I'm good."
Also, good to see Catherine Keener in a movie again.
Yeah.
She's still a very good actor.
And being John Malkovich too.
Wait, they're making us.
No, Get Out. Do you know that joke?
Wait, no.
Oh, because have you seen Being John Malkovich?
Yeah, of course I've seen Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, well, they figured that...
pretentious film student. I've seen every Spike Jonze movie.
Yeah, okay. But it's... Oh, yeah. No, because, the similar plot of people trying to live forever by going to people's heads, and Catherine Keener's in both the movies. So
I was thinking of the Black Mirror episode where they have people inside their heads.
Oh. No.
Oh, yeah, that shit still exists. Good show.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking of... there was known between Jordan and Catherine Keener. They would joke about it on set.
Oh,
I guess Spike Jonze was like, nah, and Jordan Peele was like, okay, but in my head, they're in the same universe.
Insanity I just experienced in the
Well, I think also because Spike Jonze knows he doesn't have the authority to say that because he's not Charlie Kaufman. So
Oh yeah.
Charlie Kaufman, who I
What has
think
Charlie Kaufman been up to lately?
going bankrupt apparently or something.
Ooh.
Like that. Well, maybe not going bankrupt, but he's on hard times.
I know he produced or he made a movie. He directed a movie that Dan Harmon produced.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, it was an animated movie called Anomalisa.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know Dan Harmon produced it.
Yeah, it was Dan Harmon's production company.
It was a
did
good movie though. He co-directed it since it was his animated movie. Did you see it?
No, I never did. I just heard about it. Was it any good?
It's good. But it's Charlie Kaufman, so it's about an anxious white guy who's feels he's been wronged. Well, not feels he's been wronged, but anxious white guy who has huge problems with his head, basically.
Yeah, I do like at least that Charlie Kaufman's characters. The movies do acknowledge that they're not good people,
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
no,
do
no,
get
they do.
punished for it, and they're not meant to be looked at like
Exactly.
That is what also makes being John Malkovich kind of annoying to watch because we got to follow someone that you
Yeah.
hate, the movie hates, everyone hates because he's so hateable.
That's why adaptation works far better.
I couldn't get through adaptation.
Really?
Yeah. I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is my favorite Charlie Kaufman movie.
Yeah. Adaptation, I give it another chance. It's clear that he was going through a lot of self-loathing when he made it, which is why I like it.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage is very, very good in it. Also, God bless that man. But I saw Vampire's Kiss with a friend of mine because we were trying to get on board a Nicolas Cage.
Is that the A, B, C,
Yeah,
G?
yeah. But there's this one scene that comes out of nowhere where it's like it makes sense kind of, but then it suddenly escalates where it becomes very uncomfortable because you know that part when he's going like too late
No.
because his secretary he's kind of like he wants her to kill him because he's convinced he's like a vampire and he's like basically he's trying to get it so that she will shoot him. And so there comes a point when she has a gun on him and she's like, "You're gonna rape me." He's like, "I'm gonna rape you," and you're supposed to laugh and you're like, "Oh God, no.
That's not what you want to hear Nicolas Cage say.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the movie, he's really funny in it because he's essentially trying to go for like a Max Shriek type of guy. At one point, I do love this one story apparently on set is he wanted to actually fight a real bat, but because there's this point in the very beginning of the movie. Oh God, it hasn't even started until now.
Yeah,
but
is this should we cut the Let's Play off here? Or
Yeah, sure.
At episode 1.
Yeah,
it is.
Unless you want to keep playing.
Let's end this episode. I feel like an hour is pretty.
Yeah,
we're now at an hour and 9 minutes into
Hey.
this game.
Roy Orbison, you know what they're referencing here, right? Blue
No.
Velvet.
I only saw that movie once.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked it once. I keep meaning
it's
to
very
rewatch
good.
it. Yeah, it is.
Well,
really good.
there's this point. Well, anyway. Well, I'll talk about it later because bye, everybody.
Bye. We'll finish that story next episode.
Next episode.